The moment you stop holding on, everything changes. Not because the universe suddenly decides to reward your surrender, but because you finally step out of the battlefield you've been fighting on your entire life. Right now, as you watch this, you might be clinging to something, a relationship that's already over, an identity that no longer fits, a version of yourself you've outgrown. And every single cell in your body knows it's time to let go. But your mind keeps gripping tighter. Here's what they don't tell you about spiritual awakening. The hardest part isn't finding the light, it's releasing your grip on the familiar darkness. You've been taught that holding on equals strength, that letting go equals weakness. But what if I told you that the very thing you're clinging to is the energetic anchor keeping you locked in a timeline that was never meant for you? There's a quantum truth hidden in this moment of your life. Something about parallel realities, frequency alignment, and the version of you that already exists beyond this struggle. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the universe keeps bringing you back to this same painful lesson, until you finally release your hands and trust the fall. Stay with me until the very end, because I'm going to show you the exact energetic shift that happens the moment you stop resisting what's trying to leave your life. You're here because something inside you is changing. Maybe it started with a breakup that shattered your entire sense of self. Maybe it was waking up one morning in the same life you've always lived, but suddenly feeling like a stranger in your own story. Or maybe it's been slower than that, a quiet unraveling, a gradual dissolving of everything you thought you knew about who you are and what you're supposed to be doing here. And the most confusing part? You can't explain it to anyone. When you try to put words to this feeling, people look at you like you're ungrateful, lost, or going through a phase. But you know this isn't a phase. This is a frequency shift. This is your consciousness expanding beyond the container of your old life. And it's terrifying and beautiful and lonely all at once. What you're experiencing has a name in the language of the soul: sacred dissolution. It's the process where your higher self begins dismantling the structures, relationships, and identities that no longer match the timeline you're being called into. And the reason it feels like everything is falling apart is because, energetically, it is. Not as punishment, not as failure, but as preparation. This channel exists for people like you, the ones who feel too much, see too clearly, and can't unsee the synchronicities that keep appearing like breadcrumbs from the universe. This is where quantum science meets ancient spiritual truth, where we stop pretending that your pain is random and start understanding it as recalibration. So let me ask you this. What if the thing you're holding on to isn't actually yours to keep? What if your soul already knows what your mind is afraid to accept? Let's talk about what's really happening beneath the surface of your life right now. On the outside, it might look like loss, like endings, like everything you built is crumbling for no reason. But energetically, something completely different is occurring. Your soul is shedding frequencies that no longer serve your evolution. And this process, it doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait until you feel ready. It begins the moment your consciousness reaches a certain threshold of awareness. Think of it like this. Every person, place, and pattern in your life carries a specific vibration. When you are operating at a lower frequency, maybe rooted in fear, people-pleasing, or survival mode, you attracted circumstances that matched that energy, the relationship that drained you, the job that numbed you, the friendships that felt surface level. They weren't wrong. They were simply aligned with who you were then, but you're not that person anymore. Your energy has shifted, maybe through pain, maybe through isolation, maybe through those 3 a.m. moments where you stared at the ceiling and whispered to the universe, there has to be more than this. And the universe heard you, not with words, but with frequency. It began the recalibration. Here's where it gets profound. When your frequency rises, everything that vibrates lower naturally begins to fall away. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because resonance doesn't lie. You can't force alignment with something that exists on a completely different energetic plane. It's like trying to play a song written in a key your old life can no longer reach. And this is why holding on feels so exhausting. You're using all your strength to keep yourself tied to a reality that your soul has already departed from. Energetically, you've already moved on, but mentally, emotionally, you're still gripping the past with white knuckles, terrified of the empty space that comes after letting go. That empty space? It's not emptiness. It's potential. It's the quantum field reorganizing itself around your new frequency. But you can't see that yet because you're too busy looking backward, trying to resurrect what's already complete. The universe isn't taking things from you. It's clearing space. And I know that sounds like a spiritual cliche, but stay with me, because what I'm about to explain changes everything about how you experience this process. Every time you resist release, every time you cling to what's leaving, you create an energetic friction. Imagine holding onto a rope while the other end is being pulled by the momentum of your destiny. The tighter you grip, the more it burns. But the moment you open your hands, the moment you stop fighting the current, that's when you begin to flow with the intelligence of your own becoming. You are not falling apart, you are falling into alignment. Now let's go deeper into the quantum layer of what's happening to you. In quantum physics, there's a concept that most people find unsettling at first. The idea that multiple versions of reality exist simultaneously, not as fantasy, not as metaphor, but as actual potentialities held in the field of infinite possibility. And here's what changes everything. The reality you experience isn't the only one available to you. It's simply the one you've been collapsing into existence through your focus, your beliefs, and most importantly, your energetic frequency. Right now, there's a version of you that already let go, that already released what you're clinging to. That version exists on a timeline where the breakup became the breakthrough, where the ending became the initiation, where the loss revealed itself as liberation. That version of you isn't struggling. That version is already living in alignment, in peace, in purpose, and the distance between where you are now and where that version exists, it's not time, it's frequency. This is where your higher self comes in. Your higher self isn't some distant, unreachable version of enlightenment floating in the cosmos. It's the aspect of your consciousness that exists beyond time, beyond fear, beyond the illusion of separation. It sees all your possible timelines at once. And right now, in this very moment, it's trying to guide you toward the one that matches your soul's true path. But here's the thing. It can't force you. It can only send signals, synchronicities, gut feelings, repetitive patterns, dreams that feel more real than waking life. Every time you see the same number sequence, every time a song plays with lyrics that feel like they were written for this exact moment, every time you think of someone and they text you seconds later, these aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. Your higher self is saying, you're on the right track, keep going, trust this. But when you hold on, when you resist the change that's trying to happen, you create static in the communication. You override the guidance with fear. You choose the familiar suffering over the unknown freedom. And the universe, in its infinite patience, will keep presenting the same lesson in different forms until you finally receive it. Let me make this tangible for you. Think about the thing you're holding on to right now, the relationship, the identity, the old dream. Now ask yourself honestly, how many times has the universe already tried to help you release it? How many red flags did you ignore? How many moments of clarity did you talk yourself out of? How many times did your body say no while your mind said, maybe if I just try harder? Those were quantum nudges, invitations to step into a higher timeline. But you stayed And I'm not judging you for that because I understand. Letting go feels like death when you don't yet trust what's on the other side. But here's the quantum truth that will set you free. The version of you that's suffering right now, clinging and controlling and trying to force things to work, that version exists in a lower vibrational timeline, a reality where struggle is the norm, where you have to fight for love, for worthiness, for belonging. But there's another timeline available, one where ease is natural, where alignment is effortless, where the right people, opportunities, and experiences find you because you're finally vibrating at the frequency of your truth. And the shift between those two timelines, it happens in the instant you let go. Not let go as in give up. Let go as in surrender to what is. Release your grip on how you think it should be, and trust the intelligence of how it's unfolding. That's the quantum leap. That's the moment everything changes. Your higher self has already chosen the timeline. Your job now is to stop resisting it. So the question becomes, how do you actually align with that higher timeline? How do you step into the version of yourself that's already free? It starts with understanding one fundamental truth. You cannot create a new reality from the same energy that's keeping you trapped in the old one. You can't think your way into a new timeline. You can't force it. You can't manipulate it into existence. You have to become it, and becoming it requires you to feel the truth of it before you see the evidence of it. This is where most people get stuck. They say they want to let go, they want to move forward, they want to trust the universe. But energetically, they're still tethered to the past, still checking their ex's social media, still replaying the same conversations in their mind, still waiting for closure from someone who's already gone, still identified with the story of who they were, instead of the frequency of who they're becoming. And I get it, because the mind needs proof, the mind needs certainty. The mind says, show me it's going to be okay, and then I'll let go. But the soul works in reverse. The soul says, let go, and I'll show you what's possible. This is the sacred paradox of awakening. You have to release before you receive. You have to create space before the universe can fill it. You have to become empty before you can be made whole again. So how do you do that practically? First, you stop negotiating with what's already over. You stop trying to revive what your soul has already laid to rest. There's a part of you that knows, deeply knows, when something has reached its completion. It's that quiet voice beneath the panic, beneath the but what if, beneath the fear of being alone. That voice isn't cruel, it's clarity. And the more you honor it, the more you align with your higher self. Second, you start paying attention to your body, not just your thoughts. Your body is an antenna for frequency. It knows when you're in alignment and when you're forcing something that isn't meant for you. That tightness in your chest when you're around certain people, that heaviness after certain conversations, that exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. Those are energetic signals. Your soul is speaking through your nervous system, saying, this frequency doesn't match where we're going. And on the other side, there are moments when you feel light, expansive, alive, even if nothing in your external reality has changed yet. Maybe it's when you're alone in nature. Maybe it's when you're creating something. Maybe it's in those rare moments when you stop performing and just exist. Those moments are glimpses of your true frequency. That's the vibration of the timeline you're being called into. Pay attention to what activates that feeling and do more of it. Third, you practice the art of energetic release, not just once, but daily. Because letting go isn't a single event. It's a practice. Every morning you wake up and the old pattern tries to reclaim you. The worry, the attachment, the need to control. And every morning, you get to choose again. You get to say, I release this. I trust what's unfolding. I align with my highest timeline. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as placing your hand on your heart and speaking directly to your soul. I'm ready. I'm letting go. Show me what's next. And then, you let the day unfold without gripping it, without forcing outcomes, without trying to make people stay who are meant to leave. Because here's what I need you to understand. The version of you that's already awake, already aligned, already free. It's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's not waiting for you to have it all figured out. It's waiting for you to stop resisting, to stop fighting, to stop holding on to the wreckage of what was, and finally open your hands to receive what is. That version of you is closer than you think. It's on the other side of your surrender. Let me give you something practical you can do right now. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now. As you're listening to these words, I want you to bring to mind the thing you've been holding on to. You know what it is. You felt it the moment this video started. Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's a version of yourself. Maybe it's a dream that's already died, but you keep trying to resurrect it. Whatever it is, let it come into your awareness without judgment. Just acknowledge it. This is what I've been clinging to. Now, I want you to feel where that attachment lives in your body. Not think about it. Feel it. Is it a knot in your stomach, a weight on your chest, a tension in your throat? Just notice it. This is the energetic signature of resistance. This is what holding on feels like at the frequency level. And now, take a breath. A deep one. And as you exhale, I want you to imagine that tension softening. Just slightly. You don't have to let go of everything right now. You don't have to make a massive decision in this moment. Just soften. Just allow a little bit of space between you and the thing you're gripping. Because here's what happens in that space. Possibility enters. When you create even the smallest opening, the universe can finally reach you. Your higher self can finally transmit the next step. The new timeline can finally begin to materialize, but as long as you're clenched, as long as you're holding on with all your strength, there's no room for anything new to arrive. So, breathe again. And this time, as you exhale, say this silently or out loud. I release what is no longer mine to carry. Not because you're weak, not because you're giving up, but because you're finally ready to trust that there's something better waiting for you on the other side of this release. You're ready to believe that the universe isn't taking something from you. It's redirecting you toward what's actually meant for you. Now here's the part most people miss. After you release, there's a void, a silence, an emptiness that feels uncomfortable, and this is where most people panic and grab onto something else just to fill the space. Another relationship too soon. A distraction. A numbing behavior. Anything to avoid sitting in that rawness. But I need you to resist that urge, because that void, that's sacred ground. That's the quantum field in its purest form. That's where creation happens. That's where your higher self can finally plant the seeds of your new reality. But only if you let it stay empty for a moment. Only if you trust the pause. So your practice today and every day moving forward is this. When you feel the urge to hold on, to control, to force something to stay that's trying to leave, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, am I holding on out of love or out of fear? If it's love, true love, it won't require force. It will flow. It will feel aligned. It will be mutual, reciprocal, life-giving. But if it's fear, if you're holding on because you're afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid of the unknown, then that's your signal. That's the universe whispering, it's time, let go. I've got you. And in that moment, you choose. You either stay in the old timeline, the one where you keep repeating the same cycles, the same pain, the same lessons, or you step into the new one, the one where you trust you're becoming more than you fear you're unraveling. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing. Willing to feel the discomfort, willing to sit in the unknown, willing to believe that the version of you that's already free is reaching back through time, through dimensions, guiding you home. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to take the next breath and trust that your soul knows where it's going. So here we are. The end of this video, but perhaps the beginning of something much bigger in your life. Remember what I promised you at the start, that I'd show you the exact energetic shift that happens the moment you stop resisting what's trying to leave your life. Here it is. The shift isn't loud, it isn't dramatic. It's a quiet exhale, a softening in your chest, a sudden clarity that feels like remembering something you've always known. It's the moment when fighting feels more painful than surrendering, when holding on feels heavier than letting go. And in that instant, without any fireworks or fanfare, you cross over into a different timeline. The person you were yesterday, the one who was terrified of the empty space, they stay behind. And the version of you that your soul has been calling forward, that version steps through, not because you figured everything out, not because you became fearless, but because you finally chose trust over control. And from that moment on, everything changes, not all at once, not overnight, but steadily. Quietly, the universe begins to rearrange itself around your new frequency. Doors you didn't even know existed start to open. People who match your true vibration find their way to you. And the things you thought you couldn't live without, you realize they were just placeholders for something infinitely better. This video ends here, but the process it awakened in you is just beginning. You're not the same person who clicked on this video. Something shifted, maybe small, maybe subtle, but your soul felt it. The moment you stop holding on, everything changes. Not because the world becomes perfect, but because you finally become free. And freedom, true freedom, is the highest timeline of all. If this video found you today, it wasn't by accident. You know that by now. There are no coincidences in the universe, only synchronicities, only alignments, only your higher self, orchestrating the exact messages you need to hear at the exact moment you're ready to receive them. And if these words touched something deep within you, if you felt seen, understood, or even just a little less alone in this journey, I want to invite you to make this portal a part of your awakening process. Subscribe to this channel, not for me, but for the version of you that's ready to keep rising. This space exists for people like you, the seekers, the sensitives, the ones who refuse to settle for surface-level answers. There's so much more we're going to explore together. Different timelines, shadow work, the science of manifestation, how to decode the language of synchronicity, the truth about soul contracts and karmic cycles. Every video here is designed to meet you wherever you are on your path and guide you deeper into your own knowing. And here's what I want you to do right now. Go down to the comments and write one of two things. Either write, "I choose to let go," as an energetic anchor for this new timeline you're stepping into. Or share a recent synchronicity you've experienced, something that felt like the universe speaking directly to you. When you put it into words, when you share it with this community, you're not just commenting, you're declaring, you're claiming your awakening. And if you're ready to go even deeper, there's another video appearing on your screen right now that continues this journey. It's the next piece of the puzzle, the next layer of understanding. Don't let this momentum fade. Your soul brought you here for a reason. Keep following the thread. This is not just a channel. This is a community of people walking each other home, and you belong here. Thank you for trusting me with your time, with your attention, and with this sacred part of your journey. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, trust the unfolding.